Hey folks, Nick here from Another BookTube channel, and today I will be reviewing Crumb, A Cartoonist's Life by Dan Nadel. This is a new biography that is all about Robert Crumb, the highly influential and equally highly controversial cartoonist that was the pioneer of underground comics in the 60s and who has been consistently working and publishing new material since then. He is a fascinating character to me. I've once ever since I got into comic books and I started discovering undergrounds, I was fascinated by the work of Crumb because first of all, the first thing that you see about his work is just how incredibly impressive it is. He is a tremendously talented artist, and he's a natural artist. It was something that he was pretty much self-taught. Comics were something that his brother Charles instilled in him, that he kind of forced him to get really good at it. That's covered a lot in here. His skill with a pen is it's amazing. It is absolutely incredible to look at. And then I eventually watched the Crumb documentary from 1994 by Terry Zwigoff. And that was my first exposure to Crumb, the man. And it was at that point I realized, like, oh, I don't like this guy. Like, this is a very unlikable guy for a lot of reasons. Just like at a personal level, pretending that he had never drew anything in his life, and that's just how he behaved and how he was. I would think this is a man that I never want to be anywhere near, that I would never talk about, that I would never think about, that would just be the total opposite end of the spectrum of anyone who I would even want to keep in my mind. But because of his incredible work and his incredible output and the conversation surrounding him, I do find myself fascinated by him. I still don't like him, but reading a book like this, I was hoping to get a better understanding of what made him like that. Because if you've seen the documentary as well and you're wondering, do I need to read this? Yes. This is very comprehensive. This is from cradle to, I mean, not grave because he's still alive, but current day. Everything that you could ever possibly want to know about Robert Crumb and his upbringing, his family. It even begins with his parents' upbringing, so you get to know more about them as well. His father being brought up in a strict Catholic household that was just like fully all about like guilt, and whereas his mother was Americana white trash, and they somehow ended up getting married, and the marriage was a mess and a disaster. The father kept enlisting in the army to get away from the house. Getting to know all of his brothers and his sisters who refused to be part of the movie. We get to learn a little bit about them as well. And he is such a fascinating character to me. And that's what he feels like. He feels like a character and not a real human being. Even like the look of him, like that tall, lanky, kind of gross mustache, the brimmed hats, always wearing like full pants with a belt and a button-down shirt, and he's just like very gawky looking. He looks like a character that somebody would draw, and he draws himself, and he does so incredibly well. In reading about him, this book reads like a very well thought out, made up life story. Like, this person wouldn't really exist. These things couldn't possibly be true. Like, surely this is too fantastic for the real world, but no, these are all things that actually happened. Crumb gave Dan Nadel access to his private archives. He's been saving drawings, letters, everything about his life. He's been documenting it and saving it since he was a kid. So Nadel went through all of it and put it out here. Crumb did not get like final approval on the edit of the book, so he couldn't tell him, no, take this out, don't include this. This is exactly as the author was able to find it and present it to you, not polished to make Robert look better or worse, just the facts. And after all of that, I still come out the other side. Like, I still don't like Crumb. He is still a self-admitted misogynist, self-admitted, man with racist tendencies, growing up in a very racist household and racist neighborhood. He admits to like groping women and jumping on their backs for piggyback rides, whether they consent to it or not. Like being physically handsy with them. You see evidence of that in the movie as well. Um, like he's a guy that I would never ever want to hang out with. But as an artist who is creating things and who has had an influence and an impact on American culture, it is impossible not to be a little bit fascinated by him, a little bit interested, because what does America look like, particularly American art and American comics, if we don't have Crumb? Like, what he did with his autobiographical comics, his comics that push things way too far, those were highly influential to a lot of people. I mean, Daniel Clowes cites him as an influence for why he started writing 8-Ball, which was also this kind of surrealist, semi-autobiographical anthology series. Joe Sacco, who did the graphic novel Palestine, says if Crumb didn't go so far with his own work, he doesn't think he would have ever had the audacity to do a comic about the conflict in the Middle East. Like, Crumb's contributions to the world are mostly positive, but then it's also balanced by the fact that so much of his work is so openly misogynistic, is so openly racist. But then you have the conversation from the other side of like, oh no, it's obviously satire. But is satire always a good thing? Is it an effective satire, or is it too easy to lose the plot? I mean, a lot of people coming to his comics don't have the context of who he is and what he's trying to do. And so that's how you get people from like right-wing organizations pulling Crumb panels out of entire issues that show like terrible racist imagery or terrible misogynistic imagery, and then being like, yeah, this guy gets it. Like, this is how women are. This is how black people are. Like, that's the whole conversation, and it's a conversation that can go on in circles for hours. That's why I find him so intriguing, and this gave me a lot to think about and digest, and come out the other end still feeling like I don't know this man. I don't know what he's really trying to get at, because he himself is so changeable. He changes his mind so frequently that anybody who says that they understand Crumb is full of shit, because Crumb doesn't even understand Crumb. That's what all his drawing is about, is him trying to get these ideas that pop into his mind out and just see, like, what do I do with this? And what can other people do with this? He's just putting it out there. And he agrees to do things, and then the next day he plays the victim about like, oh, this was forced on me. He's bizarre. He's a bizarre human being. It's bizarre that he exists, and it's good that he exists, but he's not for everybody, and his work is not for everybody. And if you don't like his work and you go into this, you will just find more reasons to not like his work. And if you do like his work, you'll go into this and you'll find more reasons to be impressed with it. Both sides of the Robert Crumb argument are represented here, and they will get more ammunition for their arguments. And that's great. Like, I love that the book doesn't pull any punches. It's not anesthetized or anything like that. And it reads pretty well. I'm not huge on nonfiction, particularly biographies. I have to be really interested in the subject. And as it may come across, I am very interested in Crumb. The book tops out just about 400 pages, and there's like 80 pages worth of notes or something like that, or references. So it's well paced, and you really do get everything from his life. So if you are a Crumb fan, and you've just seen the movie and you think, do I need to read the book? Yes. If you want the full picture, this is definitely the way to go. I don't know. I don't think that this would really have any appeal to. I guess this goes for every biography of someone. But if you don't know who Crumb is and you don't care about comics, this would probably not interest you all that much. But I do still think that if you pretend this is fiction, pretend this is a fake person, because he looks fake, and everything about him seems fake, and I think this just works as like a character study of a very strange individual that feels like he had to have been made up. So yeah, I recommend Crumb, A Cartoonist's Life. My arbitrary and subjective grade for this book is 8 out of 10. Do with that what you will. If you've read Crumb by Dan Nadel, let me know your thoughts on it in the comments below. Thank you very much for spending some time with me today, but now it's time to get back to reading.